Welcome to a Philosophusters production. Anybody can be a philosopher.
Have you ever wondered why bad things happen to good people? Perhaps this has led you down a path of questioning faith, if you have any. Could God possibly be real in the face of such evil, such atrocities? Well, today we're going to break down how philosophers tackle this upsettingly confusing question. First, we will define this concern as the argument from evil. The argument from evil attempts to show that the coexistence of evil and a God that is omnipotent or all-powerful, morally perfect, always doing right and never wrong, and omniscient, all-knowing, is unlikely or impossible. The argument in more structured terms is as follows. There exist horrendous evils that God has no good reason to permit. If God exists, then there are no horrendous evils that God has no justifying reasons to permit. Therefore, God does not exist. But we can break this down into simpler terms through an example. Say a small innocent fawn is minding her own business in the woods. This fawn is a good fawn and has done no wrong in her life. Suddenly, a large blazing fire erupts, and the fawn, as a result, burns into a crisp. This seems immoral, no?
Well, there is a school of thought that believes otherwise. This is called skeptical theism. Skeptical theism is the view that God exists, but that we should be skeptical of our ability to discern God's reasons for acting or refraining from acting in any particular instance. In other words, just because we cannot comprehend God's having a good reason doesn't mean he doesn't have a good or justifying reason. In this case, we can define a justifying reason as a reason that has a good enough explanation for its implementation. For example, say your child is crying after getting a shot, which really hurt, and is angry with you because you brought him there to get the shot. Your child is unable to completely understand the concept of vaccination for protection against disease, but you can and do. In the same way you cannot explain this to your child in a way he understands, perhaps there are reasons God has for allowing evil to exist in the world that we cannot understand. Thus, we are unable to judge whether any of the evils of the world are truly unjust. And that's the argument from evil and one of its most popular responses, folks. With some new philosophical knowledge in your tool belt, go forth and contemplate evil.
Thank you again for watching a Philosophusters production. Brought to you by Emma Young and Zoe Baumbach.